Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
Wow, we were just saying off air that, even for those of us that marinate in this every day, it still is it just takes your breath away. I was saying since, I'm a little kid in school, the first thing I remember is we're a nation of laws, not men. No one's above the law in America. That's what we were founded on. And here we are, which, is not unexpected, right, where we are today.
Yeah, welcome to the kingdom of America, Steph. Yeah. That's really the only thing I can call it now because we have decided presidents are kings at least for the 4 years they're in office. They can literally, with Supreme Court blessing, commit all of the crimes against the people of the United States with absolute immunity from prosecution, from being held accountable for those crimes. This is where we are. We are now a monarchy, at least for the 4 years a president is in office. And Steph, when Trump was a former president, we had a hard time prosecuting him when he was a candidate for the presidency. Now that he's president-elect and he's going to be president again, listen, welcome to the kingdom of America.
I mean, the government's position on the merits of the defendant's prosecution has not changed. The circumstances have, Jack Smith writes. So the case is obviously overwhelming, and that's what Jack Smith is saying. He said the indictment's handed down by grand juries made up of American citizens, so he now leaves the door open for charges to be brought again in the future after Trump leaves office. That's what without prejudice means, right?
Yeah, that's really the only sentence in Judge Chutkan's 2-page dismissal order, which I have here, that's worth reading. She said dismissal without prejudice, meaning this case can be reindicted and brought in the future. Dismissal without prejudice is consistent with the prosecutor's understanding that the immunity afforded to a sitting president is temporary, expiring when they leave office. Steph, those words ring hollow, and our hopes that he will ever be prosecuted for, among other crimes, a conspiracy against our voting rights. That's count 4 in his federal indictment in D.C. The hope that he will ever be prosecuted, even if technically it may be available in the future, slim to none, and slim is fading fast.
Well, I rearrested my Mary Arrestmas shirt, even if it's aspirational. It's maybe for in 4 years. But, and we can there's always the outside chance he's going to commit even more egregious crimes. So, I still have impeachment T-shirts, resignation T-shirts, so we'll see. Caitlin Collins asked, will he issue a report? And if so, what will it say? So that's one of the reasons for Jack Smith doing this, right, is that he can, on his own terms, release a report. Will that be public?
Yeah, impossible to conceive of Jack Smith not issuing a special counsel report. He has that opportunity. It will be up to Merrick Garland whether to make it public. He has pledged that he will, and for what that's worth. So, yes, there will be a report, and at least this will be documented for posterity, for history, and we will know the full extent of the evidence of Donald Trump's crimes. But, Steph, Donald Trump is about to be sworn in and appoint an attorney general. And I can't imagine one of the first things Donald Trump will tell that attorney general won't be bring me the names of all Republican witnesses who testified against me in the grand jury that produced these 2 federal indictments against me. What do you think may happen to those people?
Well, again, we're just not in any kind of normal world we recognize, but how you could get confirmed as Attorney General being on record saying, we will prosecute the prosecutors and invest the investigators, being on record as an election denier, on record as taking okay, I'm not a lawyer, but if that's not a bribe, I don't know what is, taking $25,000 to drop the case against Trump University. I mean, she just seems as almost wholly unqualified as Matt Gaetz, on several.
If as a future attorney general, you announce before you know any evidence, before there has even been an investigation conducted, if you announce, we will prosecute the prosecutors and investigate the investigators, you're ill-suited. I mean, that's disqualifying. Now, will the Senate Republicans reject Pam Bondi, Donald Trump's nominee for attorney general? I think it very unlikely. I hope there's a rigorous confirmation hearing. So at least the American people will see precisely what they are getting in these Trump appointees. It looks like we're getting people who Donald Trump hopes will burn all institutions of government down.
What does she do on the 2020 election? Does she lie? And just because perjury is not a thing now either? Or does she say, oh, let's just move on? Is she able to not answer the question? Did Joe Biden win the election in 2020?
Yeah, so many of Donald Trump's nominees have lied to Congress in the past. His Supreme Court nominees, Bill Barr, his nominee for Attorney General before he was confirmed, they lied, and they lied with impunity, Steph. Have any of them been held accountable for their lies? No. So why wouldn't this batch of nominees feel completely comfortable and emboldened to tell lies in their determination to get confirmed? So I suspect we'll see a good bit of lying in confirmation testimony.
Yeah. So speaking of Matt Gaetz, he suggests he's going to run for Florida governor. I think it was Senator Schiff, our friend from 3 weeks ago at Sexy Liberal, all of us together, but that said the taxpayers paid for this ethics report, that we have a right to see it, that this should be released.
Yeah, and I think eventually it will come out somehow. It's crazy that Matt Gaetz can resign from the job, from Congress, and then accept a fake nomination to try to bury the report, and then think he can just slide back down to Florida and run for governor with this enormous report that it seems details lots of egregious misconduct and potential crimes by Matt Gaetz. And it's all just going to evaporate. Well, maybe in a Trump administration it does. But I think that report will dog Matt Gaetz wherever he goes. And I would like to think he is not going to end up in elected office again anytime soon.
Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirschner wherever you generally get your podcasts.